with a smile on your face. When you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome to Tobago Updates Morning Show. I am your host, Renessa Ortiz, and it is the 27th of April 2026. We are close to getting to the end of April. I am joined in studio by Alex Brown. Good morning, and Alex.
Good morning, Renessa. Good morning, viewers. I note the enthusiasm with which you say we're coming to the end of April. You know, April is a special month for me, for my entire family. You just happy to say April is coming this year?
Yes, I am happy because the best month of the year is fast
coming
approaching.
to an end.
No, the best month of the year is fast approaching. I may be biased, but I still stick to that. How was your weekend, Alex?
It was a pretty interesting weekend, full of activity. Most of it I enjoyed, and I'm here a little bit tired, but I'm here.
The important thing is that we don't look like how we feel.
Well, that's great. That's great. Viewers, I hope you agree.
Viewers, before we get any further into our programming this morning, we head on over to News in 90 Seconds. Your News in 90 Seconds starts now for Monday, April 27th, 2026. It's a new era for the PNM Tobago Council. Shamfaka Joe Lewis is the new political leader after securing a decisive 1,228 votes in Sunday's internal election, defeating Kelvin Morris, who earned 730. In her victory speech last night, Kajol Lewis called her win a grassroots victory and pledged to reach out to Morris to rebuild the party unity. The new leader says her first priority is bringing all hands on deck for 2030. Tragedy struck Bacalit earlier Sunday morning. Two Signal Hill men, 34-year-olds Shaka Rivers and Keon Nimblet, lost their lives when their vehicle reportedly lost control and crashed along the highway. The collision has sent shockwaves through the tight-knit Signal Hill community as police investigations continue. We extend condolences to the family. Stakeholder Terrence Pitt is exposing what he calls a boat graveyard. Pitt shared footage of THA patrol vessels left to rot while the Buku Reef, the island's top attraction, remains under-policed. Following the recent tragedy at Pigeon Point, Pitt argues the Assembly doesn't need more laws, they need a mechanic, claiming taxpayer dollar wastage and compromised safety. And finally, American superstar influencer iShowSpeed caused a frenzy in Trinidad this weekend, but Tobagonians are feeling left out. As the YouTuber kicked off his Caribbean tour, locals took to social media to tell him, "Don't leave us out next time," and invited him to return for October Carnival. And that was your News in 90 Seconds. Stay tuned at 6:30 p.m. for our full newscast. Alex, we're seeing quite the mix of news in 90 Seconds this morning. It has been a busy weekend. I saw some of the clips from iShowSpeed's visit to Trinidad, and what particularly stood out to me was his clip with the Blue Devils.
How did he find them?
I believe this was something that they curated before he came here for him to get a full experience. He was at the double stand, and with the Blue Devils, I think it was really interesting for him because coming to Trinidad and Tobago, where we are rich in culture, and seeing the Blue Devils screaming and their portrayal of what it means to be a Blue Devil and his full incorporation and his enmeshment into the culture was really nice to see. It was a bit hilarious as well.
I think though that our culture is one of the underexploited resources that we have, that we can use to contribute to the building of our revenue.
Yeah.
But we're happy when non-nationals visit us and find its value, and we're hoping that their presence will assist in marketing the culture that we have, that we can use for our own benefit.
And I'm happy that as one of the members of the older generation, you can really...
Careful now.
You can really come to that conclusion, because there was also outcry of persons from that generation as well not understanding the significance of him even being here in Trinidad and Tobago and what that could mean in terms of positive exposure for the island and for the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago.
Probably some work we need to do in helping some more senior members of our society understand how the world turns today.
Yes, how it has evolved.
I mean, even for those of us who are not so older. It's difficult to keep speed, so we can imagine that some who are more senior in years would have a bit of a challenge. But I think we owe it to them to help them understand this is the way the world now turns, and if we are to keep step, then there are some changes we need to make.
Yes. And on to the road fatality that happened over the weekend, we just want to extend condolences to the families of the two young men that lost their lives. We want to send comfort to you at this time, and that God continues to cover you through this difficult time.
Our prayers and thoughts are with you.
And moving on to some congratulations. We want to say congratulations to Mrs. Shamfaka Jo Lewis on a landslide victory this past weekend, and securing her spot as the leader of the PNM Tobago Council. Congratulations to you.
And all the best as you do your part in contributing to your party's rebuilding, and certainly to the contributing of Tobago's well-being for the future.
Now viewers, we head on over to the celebratory segment of our morning. It's our birthday shout-out segment. First up on the lineup, we have Mark Cunningham. Happy birthday to you from us here at the Tobago Updates family. We're wishing you a year going forward that is prosperous, that you take the time to reflect on your life thus far until this point, so that you can make those changes that you want to see the best going forward in your new year.
Next, we have Donalis Robinson Kwashi. Happy birthday to you. There's a nice, contented smile on your face, and I'm trusting that today begins a year that continues with contentment and favor from Almighty God. We trust that you are going to have a beautiful day and a year that just makes you happy.
Up next, we're sending belated birthday greetings to Garfield Lashley. I love this suit in this picture. He's no stranger to the Tobago space, and we're wishing you a day that is just as jovial and vibrant as you are. Happy birthday to you.
And we also send greetings belatedly to Erna Critchlow. Happy belated birthday to you. We trust that you had a wonderful birthday, and that the new year it began is going to be one that's full of favor. Happy belated birthday.
I'm just going to put in right here as well for Erna. So happy belated birthday to you
like
as well. Yes, I do. She was one of my tutors when I started my journey of sewing. So I just want to say a special.
This outfit.
I am, yes, she did. I'm not even going to say I'm not sure. She did. Next up, we have my apologies. This is congratulations to Asta and Evelyn Kwashi on the occasion of their 62nd wedding anniversary, from their daughter Auntie Kathleen and the rest of the children, grandchildren and great-grandchildren. That is such a milestone, Alex.
Indeed.
Your 62nd wedding anniversary.
It's almost like this marriage is getting itself ready for pension. You know,
Wow.
Damn it, I life, you know. 62 years. Congratulations to you both, and may God continue to bless your marriage.
Yes, indeed. And this has brought us to the end of our celebratory segment this morning. Those of you who did not make it on the lineup, ensure that you send your information to us here at Tobago Update so that we can celebrate with you. Alex, we're moving further along into the program, and tell us what we have in store for the viewers this morning.
Interesting. We're talking the repair campaign. We'll talk with Doctors Rita Pemberton and Lovell Francis. I'm not going to tell him about that. There's a word that Renessa is particularly liking this morning. Viewers, we're going to wait until we get a little closer, but we'll talk with them about the repair campaign. Following that, we talk with ASP Mahalia Bacchus, and of course this is our weekly update from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. She's going to share with us what is happening in joint exercises and the joint enterprise activity with the police service. And finally, we talk with Kimari Richardson Thomas, coordinator of Tobago C6 study series. I'm wondering if we should not have had this discussion a little bit earlier, But viewers, stay tuned. We'll talk with Kimari about the Tobago C6 study series.
And viewers, there you have it. Stay tuned. If you want to be a part of these conversations this morning, I want to say thank you to those of you who are viewing us on YouTube, Facebook, Digital, Amplia, and Flow. Thank you for making Tobago Updates your #1 station on a morning. But before we get any further, we want to remind you to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Looking for office attire or worship apparel, then come to Tia's Classic Closet. Shopping for casual clothing or just want to dress down. Big discount, so it's you on clothing and comfortable shoes. Get some wonderful accessories to match your attire. Come to Tia's Classic Closet at 39 Montgomery Road. Opening hours daily from 9:30 to 5:30. For more information, call 710-168-99999.
Sofa Factory is here in Tobago. Conveniently located Montessori Drive, Glen Road, Scarborough. Up to 20% off on select sofas for customization. Deals on some sofas from as low as $4,000 until stocks last. 10% off on all wardrobes. Half off on shower heads with the purchase of a vanity set. Come in and experience the new way to shop for furniture and see the quality in person.
Make your goals a reality this season with Mount Pleasant Credit Union. Tobago's choice, we got you smiling. Come and feel that mid-year feeling, oh yeah. Mid-year island dreams, we make it easy. $20,000 to $100,000. Come and see, we warm hearts, bright plans, your goals grow. Mount Pleasant Credit Union, Tobago's choice. Every loan wants to prove more reasons to celebrate. Chance to win big, doesn't that feel great? Up to $3,500 in exciting gift certificates. Share investment starts as low as $2,500. Mid-year island dreams, we make it easy. $20,000 to $100,000. Come and see, we warm hearts, bright plans. Let your goals grow. Whoa. Mount Pleasant Credit Union, Tobago's choice,
Trinidad is my home, and I always say charity begins at home. So I'm just delighted to bring this team of dedicated volunteers. Part of our motto is that we just don't send relief. We hand deliver it with care and compassion. And as I would always tell my team, the best way to find oneself is to lose oneself in the service of others.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
Our world is filled with rhythm. Rhythm that's unapologetic, infectious, timeless. Rhythm is commitment in action. It's how we show up for each other with unrelenting support that goes the distance. Rhythm lives in the tiny beats of our most intimate moments and the seismic roars of our biggest achievements. Rhythm is resilience in motion. So even when things go out of sync, we do what it takes to bring the rhythm back. At Flow, we understand your rhythm because we live it. that's why we're dedicated to building a network as resilient as you, with a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You're at the heart of everything we do, and our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing, no matter what.
Okay. 335, 336, 337, 338, 339,
Counting on your fingers again. No wonder you lose your business.
Grandpa, thanks for helping me start over.
You not lucky in business, you know. As a child, you tried to sell hog plum. That failed. As a teenager, you and your boyfriend tried to break into the jewelry business. But hey, where that boy end up?
He live in Aruka in the Grove. The golden one.
Oh, child, if you want to get into business, you have to have your financial records intact. But hey, do you know your numbers?
Of course, 624 333.
No, child, your numbers, your ratios, your equity ratios. You have a financial handicap.
What?
You need to see somebody about that. Anderson.
Who?
Anderson in Trinidad and Tobago, they offer tax and accounting services. They know about financial management.
Grandpa, I started this business with nothing.
And nothing is what you will end up with unless you call Anderson Services. Here.
Okay, this card is nice.
Yeah.
What's this?
Your rental fee. Have business will pay rent. Hot and groovy in the sugar party.
Welcome to Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, where innovation meets excellence and service reigns supreme. Our commitment is simple: to provide high-quality, innovative aluminum, vinyl, and glass solutions for both commercial and residential spaces. At TGSL, we don't just meet needs, we exceed expectations. Our range includes the finest aluminum cladding options, setting new standards in durability and style. Driven by our passion to elevate, we aim to be the leading supplier in the Caribbean market while retaining our identity as a family-owned business. Because at Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, it's not just about products. It's about relationships, it's about you. Innovation, quality, service. That's Tobago Glass Supplies Limited.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, welcome back. As promised before the break this morning, we're going into a conversation that is often complex and powerful. We're talking about reparations, with a public lecture coming up at the Scarborough Library hosted by the Repair Campaign. We're joined by two voices helping to shape that discussion here in Tobago. Joining us virtually, we have Dr. Rita Pemberton, historian, and Dr. Lovell Francis. Good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning. Good morning, Tobago.
Now, for viewers who may not fully understand when we say reparations, what does that actually mean in the Caribbean context?
Dr. Pemberton, I think I should take this one.
Okay.
It's a very simple concept, and it's not difficult to explain. Basically, it comes down to the fact that if you've done some harm to someone, some serious harm, there is a process you go through, One, you admit wrongdoing, then you make some sort of apology, and then you make some sort of restitution to repair the damage that you've done. I mean, this is something that happens in normal life. If a husband does something that a wife finds to be a terrible thing, you go through that process. You say, I've done something wrong, you apologize, and then you make some sort of recompense. Reparations, in terms of the Caribbean context, we're talking about repair being made for two of the greatest sins in the history of the human species: the enslavement of African people on mostly sugarcane plantations, but it's not exclusively that. And you're talking about the kidnapping of African people from West Africa and transporting them to the Caribbean, which we call, quote unquote, the slave trade. So that's what we're talking about in terms of reparations in the Caribbean context. We also refer to reparations for the genocide of the native peoples of the region. But in this case, we're primarily talking about repair for the sins of African enslavement and for the trade in captured Africans, which some people still call the slave trade.
Now, Dr. Pemberton, I'm going to direct this question to you. Now, how does the history of Tobago and the wider Caribbean strengthen the case for reparatory justice today?
Well, let me focus on Tobago. You know, we have a tradition where we talk about our heritage, our culture, our traditions, right? All these have come through our ancestry, those who were captured and brought. Now, they have done things and they have started a process which we want or need to build on to have real restitution. You know, it's like you have a matter and you take it to court and the court says, well, you are so and so, you are wrong and you have to pay. No, the reparations is based on that same principle. So in our history, what we see is a people who never gave up. There was a consistent fight to find respect, to establish their dignity, and move themselves and their kin forward. So we celebrate these in our Blue Food Festival and our heritage. But what we are doing with these things is really not intended or not directed to strengthening our belief and our fostering and of the next generation into what we call our traditions. You know, we have Blue Food. We have a festival every year. We have 2 weeks leading up to the day the Emancipation Bill was passed, and we have an activity there across the 2 weeks. But what we're doing, really doing with our traditions, is to tell the young people that these are good for 1 day, 1 week, or 2 weeks. After that, where is it built into our traditions? That is what we need to build them into our everyday lives, and so that every generation participates in a process. Now, for the enslaved people and for those who were passed into a stage after 1838, I don't call it freedom because it was not freedom. Now, those people lived an experience, and our generation is growing consistently out of touch with their traditions and their culture. It is seen as something that you celebrate. But the traditions and culture that we have inherited have been part of a process of reaction. They fought. It was resistance. And that element of it is not coming out. We have a nice party for 2 weeks before the 1st of August, and then that's the end of it until the next year. We've got to do better than that. So for our history as demonstrated, a number of people have, a number of families have inherited land, that the fight of people, African people in Tobago, for dignity and for respect and for a place in the sun was based on the acquisition of land. That is a tradition well established after emancipation. Tobago has a history of being one of the colonies in which more people owned land, more people who were not white, who were not colonizers, owned land. And what have we done with that? We have the Blue Food Festival. How much blue food, well, I should rephrase that, to what extent do we have evidence to show whether our production of blue food has increased since the initiation of the Blue Food Festival? So that is what our reparation is driving us to look at and to improve on.
Interesting perspectives. Dr. Francis, you lead the repair campaign. From the perspective of repair, how does what Dr. Pemberton just shared in terms of preservation of culture and history and so on, how does that fit into the repair campaign? And probably give us a little bit of a background as to the repair campaign itself.
Okay. I am leading the repair campaign in terms of the Trinidad and Tobago movement. But there is a larger repair campaign that is running simultaneous movements, one in the UK, where the emphasis is on sensitizing them, the things that were done during enslavement and colonialism. The other is focused on the Caribbean. And what Dr. Pemberton has really said in a very nice way is that people always think of reparations as though we are standing around begging or hoping for a check. We make the point that, yes, we believe that some financial compensation for the past abuses is due, is owed, is deserved, but we are also concerned with the idea of self-repair. I always say that in many ways, all of our Caribbean societies were not really meant to exist. We were really created to produce raw materials for transportation back to what was considered the so-called mother country, for them to accumulate capital, for them to get wealthy. And that was our purpose. And beyond that, there was never really any vision for us. The fact that we are here centuries after these systems have, I don't want to say ended, have transformed themselves, is down to our agency, to our strength, to our resilience, to our ability to build civilizations. So one of the main focus of the repair campaign that ties in directly to what Dr. Pemberton just said is that we believe in the idea of self-repair. We believe that Caribbean people who have struggled and have survived and have thrived and have grown thus far have the ability to look at our state, look at the legacies passed on to us, and to use those legacies to fix the areas where we are unsatisfied. If we find, for example, that the incidence of non-communicable diseases are too prevalent and that there is a historical line that goes to the plantation, we have the ability to repair that. If we find that the manner in which we treat with land is not sufficient to the growth and expansion of our community, we have the mechanisms and the means and the understanding and the ability to solve those problems. If we see other societal issues where maybe there are issues of parenting, we have the ability to repair those. So yes, what we're really saying is that the often very narrow understanding of what reparations means, which to many people is often just a dollar from somewhere else, this is really a kaleidoscope, it's really a worldview, and a lot of it is centered on us having the agency to repair ourselves.
You lead the repair campaign in Trinidad and Tobago. What has the response been like in terms of the average member of our society? Does there seem to be an interest, a desire to be part of this and to lead the self-repair that you're talking about? Is there apathy? Is there the feeling that somebody should just give us something and then we'll make do? What has the response been like?
This is really a short-term project I have been involved in since December. This phase of it ends in May. Now that's 6 months. This is not a long time. And to be perfectly fair, reparations is not a new issue. There have been legacy groups involved in this struggle for generations. So I'm not going to pretend that the repair campaign has come and they're doing something novel or something that is entirely innovative. But I have actually been very surprised at the response. I expected maybe a bit of cynicism on my part, a lot more apathy, a lot more disinterest. In fact, I have found the opposite to be the case. People have been very interested. And I'll give you one example. One of the things I started doing was to host either a monthly or twice monthly, what people opt to call a lecture, but I prefer to call a discussion online. And the response to that, and basically focusing on the history, because I find it a bit unfair. I find it a bit of a huge ask to encourage people to get involved in a reparation struggle without providing them a sound historical context for doing so. So one of the things I've been doing is what I would have done in the past in my previous employment, basically sat down and talked history with people, and the response has been overwhelming. So I am not saying that reparations is at the threshold where it is as widespread and well understood as it should be. What I will say is that there is a hunger and a desire for the historical understanding. There is far more interest in the idea. And then these international changes like that UN vote, making it a talking point where the average person on the street is aware and is actually talking about it. So in terms of a Trinidad and Tobago reparations movement, in terms of a Caribbean reparations movement, it is my view that it is trending in the right direction in terms of getting the kind of grassroots support that it needs to really reach a critical mass.
Now, this conversation can go on and on, but unfortunately, we have to wrap up at this time. But before we go, I want you to tell the viewers a bit about the lecture that you have upcoming, the date, the time, and what they can expect once they attend.
This lecture is on Thursday at the Tobago, at the Scarborough Library Auditorium. I was trying to find the best person to present a Tobago reparations history. I am of the view that for reasons good and reasons bad, the history is often as interesting as the historian. I really tried my best to find a very interesting Tobago historian that would be very honest, very frank, that would call us, make us look at ourselves, make us introspective, look at where we are, understand the legacies that we've inherited, understand what we need to be doing now. And I really couldn't look further than Dr. Pemberton, who's one of my mentors. In fact, if I have to blame anybody for getting me involved in this whole thing, I'll blame her. I know that when she stands on that stage, she's going to deliver a discussion, a lecture that is engaging, that is centered, that will be honest, that will provoke thought, that will leave all of us with something to contemplate, and that will chart for us a way into the future that we can navigate. So I'm asking Tobagonians to come out on Thursday evening at the Tobago Library at 7 to be given a slice of history, Tobago history, in a unique manner by a very accomplished, a very witty, a very intelligent, a very incisive Tobago historian. And they will be given not just food, because I am one of those who believes that I shouldn't invite people out of their homes without providing some sort of meal, and we'll be having a proper Tobago meal and emphasizing that, but also food for thought. It will be worth their evening, and we will have a time discussing history and reparations and our pathway into the future.
Now, Dr. Pemberton and Dr. Francis, I want to thank you so much for coming on this morning and sharing your insights and perspectives as it relates to reparations, not just for Tobago, but the Caribbean as well. We wish you all the best going forward, especially for your upcoming lecture on April 30th.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Now viewers, up next we have ASP Mahalia, backers of the TTPS. We're talking joint enterprise. Stay tuned and remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Sofa Factory is here in Tobago. Conveniently located Montessori Drive, Glen Road, Scarborough. Up to 20% off on select sofas for customization. Deals on some sofas from as low as $4,000 until stocks last. 10% off on all wardrobes. Half off on shower heads with the purchase of a vanity set. Come in and experience the new way to shop for furniture and see the quality in person.
Looking for office attire or worship apparel, then come to Tia's Classic Closet. Shopping for casual clothing or just want to dress down. Big discount, so it's you on clothing and comfortable shoes. Get some wonderful accessories to match your attire. Come to Tia's Classic Closet at 39 Montgomery Road. Opening hours daily from 9:30 to 5:30.
For more information, call 710-168-99999.
Make your goals a reality this season with Mount Pleasant Credit Union. Tobago's choice, we got you smiling. Come and feel that mid-year feeling, oh yeah. Mid-year island dreams, we make it easy. $20,000 to $100,000. Come and see, we warm hearts, bright plans, your goals grow. Mount Pleasant Credit Union, Tobago's choice. You know, every loan wants to prove more reasons to celebrate. Chance to win big, doesn't that feel great? Up to $3,500 in exciting gift certificates. Share investment starts as low as $2,500. Mid-year island dreams, we make it easy. $20,000 to $100,000. Come and see, we warm hearts, bright plans, let your goals grow. Mount Pleasant Credit Union, Tobago's choice, you know.
Trinidad is my home, and I always say charity begins at home. So I'm just delighted to bring this team of dedicated volunteers. Part of our motto is that we just don't send relief. We hand deliver it with care and compassion. And as I would always tell my team, the best way to find oneself is to lose oneself in the service of others.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
Our world is filled with rhythm. Rhythm that's unapologetic, infectious, timeless. Rhythm is commitment in action. It's how we show up for each other with unrelenting support that goes the distance. Rhythm lives in the tiny beats of our most intimate moments and the seismic roars of our biggest achievements. Rhythm is resilience in motion. So even when things go out of sync, we do what it takes to bring the rhythm back. At Flow, we understand your rhythm because we live it. That's why we're dedicated to building a network as resilient as you, with a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You're at the heart of everything we do, and our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing, no matter what.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
viewers, welcome back. In studio with us we have ASP Mahalia Bacchus of the TTPS, and we're talking joint enterprise along with some of the crime updates here on the island of Tobago. Good morning and welcome to you, ASP.
Good morning, and I'm happy to be here this morning. Thank you for having me.
And before we go any further into the joint enterprise topic, are there any crime updates that you would like to share with the public at this time?
Well, I just want to let the public know, I think on the last occasion, the officer who was here would have mentioned that we were successful in recovering an illegal firearm off of the streets. And we have a person in custody in relation to that firearm. Hopefully by today, they should appear before the court to answer questions pertaining to that. And I'm always pleased to make those reports because of the fact that every time we remove a firearm from the streets, we save many lives. All right, you know, it's an inanimate object, but when somebody has it in their hand, it can cause a lot of damage. So we encourage the public to continue to share information with us in relation to illegal firearms on the outside so that we can continue to save lives.
Now, explaining to us in simple terms, what exactly does it mean, or what exactly is joint enterprise in a legal and policing context?
All right, so in joint enterprise, it's a term in criminal law where you have one or more persons coming together to plan or commit a crime. What people don't understand that you can commit a crime even though you didn't directly play that physical role. That's because you could carry out different functions within doing that crime. For example, we may sit down and plan. And then you may become part of the execution of that plan in terms of driving a vehicle to take the person who physically committed the crime to that scene. So immediately you become a part of that crime. You can be charged for the direct crime itself.
ASP, when we first saw joint enterprise, I started thinking the police partnering with business people and we talking about, you know, the societal involvement in the fight against crime. Now we're realizing that joint enterprise is also criminal activity. Based on your definition, it seems as well that one can become an unwitting part of joint enterprise because you can be involved in something, you didn't physically carry out an act, but you're involved in something that you're not aware of what you're involved in, but because of your association with somebody who may be involved in criminal activity and you may be unaware. Tell us how vigilant, or how could we exercise vigilance against something like that, and how many cases of this have we seen in recent times?
So I don't have a direct figure, but a lot of times if you hear on the news, persons jointly charged, sometimes you may not know the exact role that they played, but you will hear 3 or 4 persons jointly charged for this crime because you could simply be the lookout, right? The person that they tell, hold on across the road whilst we do what we have to do on the inside, and they go in, they rob somebody, they may even go as far as committing murder. Right? But because you were the person on the outside facilitating and making the phone call and saying, one car coming, or hurry up, you know, that kind of way, you didn't physically go into the place and do it. But your role there would have helped to facilitate that crime. So you have to understand and be careful as a member of the public how you can get involved unwittingly.
So I get a phone call. My car break down, you know, I am at so-and-so. Just come and pick me up, please, now. You could pick me up in 10 minutes, and I leave my good, comfortable home and go pick up this person. And then the police are knocking on my door a few days later. How does this work out for me?
All right. So in cases like that, your honesty and the truth in the situation is really, really important. And based on our investigative skills and when we do an interview with you and so on, then we might be able to tell whether you were willingly or unwillingly brought into this situation by that individual. All right, because your alibi, you could probably indicate where you were at home with your wife when you got that phone call, and she maybe could be able to support that, right? But what if you observe that when you picked up the person, they have a set of bags, they took off a ski mask, you saw them with a firearm, right? They put away the firearm in a bag. They may have tools, housebreaking tools with them, a pig foot. several things. And aren't you going to be concerned that you're picking up this person with these items? Did you ask a question?
I feel again pick up if I say that.
You understand? So that's why we look at the reasonable person, what you would or would not do in a circumstance like that. And we have had situations where if somebody did that and then they realize something comes out on the news, they contact the police. They will contact the police and let them know that on this night, I got a call and I was asked to pick up the person, but, I didn't pay much mind to what I saw, and your honesty in that case could help to exonerate you in a situation like that.
So based on your prior answers, is it then that individuals would be facing varying degrees of accountability, or is everyone going to be given the same charge?
Same charge.
Same charge.
Same charge. So if you drive, you look out, you went inside, you're robbed, you are going to be charged jointly for the offense.
Now, what advice would you give to young people? Because sometimes this is a situation of wrong place, wrong time. What advice would you give to them if they find themselves in questionable company? We know we need to go to the police, but in terms of addressing that fear, what are some of the things that you can say to our young people right now, given the current situation and state of crime when it comes to joint enterprises?
So, the old people usually tell us, friends could carry you, but they can't bring you back. And it is a deep-rooted saying that sometimes we take it for granted even as adults. And when you say it to the young persons, they don't understand or have regards for it. But in cases like this, it happens. Sometimes they set out on an expedition of fun and just probably doing something, and it turns into something very gory that they didn't expect. You know what I mean? So you have to be careful about the choices that you make, the people that you choose to associate with. And sometimes if you recognize something is going down a particular road, you could probably alert somebody in advance to probably help to stop it before it happens, right? Because as I said, you could plan. Sometimes people come to you and ask for certain stuff, and that is providing the tools to go ahead and facilitate the crime. Sometimes you may be working in an establishment and you realize somebody is questioning you about the operations within that establishment and the times it closes, it opens, how the transactions, the financial transactions are flowing, that kind of thing. You have to be smart and you have to think, because sometimes you may be providing the details that they need to carry out the crime. And then when it's completed, they may come to you and say, hold $1,000, hold $500. And then you realize you were paid and you accepted the monies. So you're just as criminally liable as the persons who actually carried out the act.
ASP, you mentioned something that kind of tickled my mind. I am not a tradesman by any stretch, but I try to be a little bit handy. So I normally buy tools to do my little stuff. When you mentioned somebody asking you to borrow, and anybody who knows me, I kind of kind-hearted, something that I'm often chastised at home for. You don't know to say no. And you're saying to me somebody came, asked me to borrow a couple pieces of tools, and I lent them. And they came back, and I am thinking, out of the goodness of their heart, they gave me a little 500, not knowing that my tools were used in crime, and what appears to be just genuine compensation is actually receipt of the proceeds of crime. How do we mesh that reality with the good neighborliness that Tobagonians are supposedly known for, and the kindness, and how do you integrate those two? Because to me it's kind of sending the message now that we have to change what is known to be our culture.
Exactly. And when you think about it, if somebody comes to my Pigfoot, my this, my that, they're not a tradesman, but this person comes to borrow all my stuff. You never know them to be in any part of any sort of activity that involves the use of these items, right? They borrow it this week, they come again next week. And every time you check the news, you're probably hearing about this breakthrough and this break-in, and you might hear the police actually mention the method of which they got in by using a Pigfoot and prizing open a lock, and you're realizing, like, every time I lend my tools to this person, something is happening, within your good conscience, and that's what is required. When the police say we're asking to work with the public, you realize something like that might be happening. Even if you don't have somebody directly that you can tell, you can call one of these numbers that we often provide, 555 and so forth, or reach out to the officers to say, well, this person, and the times he normally moves with my items, he's not doing any construction work in the night time. You know what I mean? So there are a lot of ways in which you yourself could try to figure out, or you don't lend your items at all. You don't lend them at all. So you have to be careful. And in terms of investigation, that is how we are able to set apart whether you knowingly or unknowingly gave your items. Because in order to commit a crime, you have to have two elements, which is the mens rea and you have the actus reus, right? So the mens rea is the thought, what is in the mind, and then the actus reus is the action that you carry out with the crime. So in order for us to prove you guilty or not guilty, you're looking at where the two elements coming.
Important insights there from ASP Mahalia Bacchus as it relates to joint enterprise, reminding us that the company we keep can play a pivotal role in some of the circumstances we find ourselves in. We want to thank you so much for coming on this morning and sharing with us and making aware the public some of the activities and certain situations that we can find ourselves liable in. Thank you so much for coming on this morning.
Okay, thank you. But before we leave, I just want to let the public know that we have begun our town meetings again, and we have the Shervan Road District having their first town meeting on the 30th of May at the Mount Pleasant multipurpose facility at Canby. So we are inviting the general community there of Mount Pleasant to come out and participate. What we normally do, we would bring the advertisement to you guys so that you could put it out and have persons come out and relay your concerns, even your support, wherever you can make recommendations. We do use the opportunity to listen to the members of the public so that we could make a better working TTPS for yourself and for us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So viewers, we want to remind you to stay tuned here. We have one more conversation in store for you. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
Sofa Factory is here in Tobago. Conveniently located Montessori Drive, Glen Road, Scarborough. Up to 20% off on select sofas for customization. Deals on some sofas from as low as $4,000 until stocks last. 10% off on all wardrobes. Half off on shower heads with the purchase of a vanity set. Come in and experience the new way to shop for furniture and see the quality in person.
Looking for office attire or worship apparel, then come to Tia's Classic Closet. Shopping for casual clothing or just want to dress down. Big discount, so it's you on clothing and comfortable shoes. Get some wonderful accessories to match your attire. Come to Tia's Classic Closet at 39 Montgomery Road. Opening hours daily from 9:30 to 5:30.
For more information, call 710-168-99999.
Make your goals a reality this season with Mount Pleasant Credit Union. Tobago's choice, we got you smiling. Come and feel that mid-year feeling, oh yeah. Mid-year island dreams, we make it easy. $20,000 to $100,000. Come and see, we warm hearts, bright plans, your goals grow. Mount Pleasant Credit Union, Tobago's choice. You know, every loan once approved, more reasons to celebrate. Chance to win big, doesn't that feel great? Up to $3,500 in exciting gift certificates. Share investment starts as low as $2,500. Mid-year island dreams, we make it easy. $20,000 to $100,000. Come and see, we warm hearts, bright plans, let your goals grow. Mount Pleasant Credit Union, Tobago's choice, you know.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers. Welcome back. We thank you for staying with us. As promised, we're talking education. We're talking Tobago C6 study series. And with us to have this discussion is Mrs. Kimari Richardson. Thomas, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Good morning.
Now, at this time where we basically in the thing, I get right into is this the right time? You'll tell us afterwards about the series, but yes. Is this the right time to be having this discussion? Are we a little bit late?
We are late. But the option was don't start now because we're late, or still go ahead and start in spite of the lateness.
All right. So we are admitting that we are a little bit behind. Tell us, what is the Tobago C6 study series? How did it start? What is it about?
All right. So basically, this came out of 3 initiatives that I'd been a part of over the years. When I was still in the public teaching sector, the school that I worked with, we used to do 2 annual study series. We called it our study camps during the carnival period and the Easter period, because it was a way to get the students together in a focused environment and help them to study, because many of our students don't even know how to start to study. And over the last few years, in fact, even before that, I'd been a part of an initiative that the Division of Education ran during COVID. And we had quite a number of teachers who volunteered their time to do lessons, do sessions to prepare content to help students during COVID. In fact, quite a number of those teachers who were involved in that initiative are back on board for this. And the third area really was sessions that I'd been involved with teachers throughout the region. And this was focused on preparing students for English language. And we've been doing that for the past 3 or 4 years, called the Write Like a Boss series that was started by a Jamaican colleague, Kenisha Williamson. And she got English teachers across the region together to help students prepare for the English language exam. Coming out of all of those, I felt that there's a need to do something for the Tobago students that would get them together in a single space at a single point in time with educators who understand the content and help them to revise before the exam. So even when you ask if it's a little late, we're working on the premise of the first, what I call high volume exam, which is English A. That's on the 5th of May. And we're still just in time, especially because some of the schools only just last week or so may have released the students and send them home. The idea is doing something for the students while they're home. We couldn't do this really while school was still in session. So I think it's perfectly timed, accidentally though, but it's perfectly timed to capture the students at this point and help them to revise and get ready.
You made mention of English language. I usually tell, I did a little bit of teaching as well. And I usually told students, if you did not master English, you're likely to fail everything else because all your exams are going to come to you written in English. However, there's been a discovery of alarming levels of illiteracy. Varying levels, but alarming nonetheless. Illiteracy in our society. How has that been, or how has that influenced your approach, particularly to the support with English language?
What you're saying is very true, and it has a lot to do with a shift in how young people engage with content. When I was younger, I don't want to date anybody here, but when I was younger, the only way to engage with content was to read it. And reading was something that we had to actively engage in to get information to do anything. But many persons in our society today, many young persons, they're getting content without having to read it. And I also suspect that the way education is focused, especially because of the heavy concentration on passing exams and completing the syllabus and that level of content delivery, some things as basic as reading and numeracy skill development, those things, it's rushed. The students who can capture it quickly, they get it and they're able to move on. But we have a lot of students who don't get it at that time. They bloom later on with the right support. But there's been a shift in how we structure what we're doing, as well as in terms of how we acquire the content that we need for everyday life.
The name of this series is called It Takes a Village.
Yes.
And I think that that's a very crucial and very important part when it comes to educating our young minds. You mentioned that there are educators volunteering, and how can more teachers or even parents be a part of this initiative to help their students going forward in the upcoming exams?
So one of the things that, I love Tobago, yes, and I love teachers, I love our teachers, because I sent out some information last week Thursday morning, and I'm not going to hesitate to let you know, while it's been an idea that I've been working on since last year, and I started some conversations last year. On Thursday, I reached out to some people, and at the end of the day, Thursday, I had about 12 people on board, and teachers from different schools who are saying, yes, I'm on board. There are people I did not reach out to who heard about it, and they said, sign me up. The Tobago Information Technology Limited, they are on board. I spoke with Mr. Williams, who continues to indicate his commitment to especially anything that would help our children, our students in Tobago, so that we'll be using their platform because these are online sessions. And what we're asking is that persons stay tuned to the Tobago Information Technology Limited titles page, but their socials on Facebook, Instagram, and so on, because we would share the Zoom link there. Any other teachers who are listening to this morning, one second. Any other teachers who are listening to this morning, I just need to make an appeal. If you're already doing classes for your students, you know you've already scheduled something, give me a call, 723-5239, and I know that y'all might have asked for that later on, but I'm sending it now so they'll have time to write it down. Give me a call or a WhatsApp message. You're going to be revising with your students. Let's expand it and stretch it out so that other students can benefit. We know that parents will be excited. We know the parents and the teachers will be very interested. Some of our teachers are they're already overwhelmed. So initially we were looking for teachers who might have been retired or had a different kind of schedule. What we're hoping to do is capture the students and get the students interested in coming and getting questions answered and revising. We're asking teachers to dedicate a 2-hour time slot at their convenience, because the children are home. Every hour is dedicated to study. There is no, this is too early, this is too late. If we say we're doing a midnight session, get up and come. You're not going to school in the morning.
Now, how can students join the sessions, and is there any cost attached to it?
This is absolutely free. And this is why we say it takes a village. Because in Tobago, we come together for everything else. We come for harvest, we come for carnival, we come for everything. Let us come together for our students at this juncture. Let us come together as an island and support students. There are persons who may not have children doing the exams this year, but they may see the link and they know of a child who can benefit. There are some students who cannot afford extra classes, but it's an opportunity for many of the educators to say, look, I've been doing this. Let's see how we can give some of the time and our expertise in this season for these sessions for our children.
All right, thank you so much for joining us. Viewers, I just want to implore you. There are people who are willing to become part of your village for the benefit of your family. Tell them again, Mrs. Richardson Thomas, how they can become part of this program, how they can benefit, and of course, invite those who have the time and the ability to share how they can become part of it.
Yes. So the series, It Takes a Village. It is the Tobago CSEC Success Series. I know it's a mouthful. But if you're interested in being a part, if you want to get more information, you can call or WhatsApp me, Kimmery Richardson Thomas, at 723-5239. We have quite a number of educators from across the island. Different schools, they're already ready to go, and we want to start off this week. We plan to start this week, and we're hoping what it is we are going to do. The very first session will be a 1-hour session by a renowned educator on the island who will be talking to our students about how to study, how to prepare, and how to benefit from these sessions.
Thank you so much for coming in and for sharing with us. And we trust that, viewers, you are going to take full advantage of this opportunity. It can only benefit not only you and your family, but the entire society in the long run. Thank you again for coming in and sharing with us.
Thank you.
Well, viewers, that's all the time we have for this morning. It's been a very, very tight morning. We thank you for staying with us. Up next is GMT. We take a break now. When we come back, GMT is on. Remember during the break to share the live, share the live, share the live.
The Department of Labor is primarily stable industrial relations climate. That's primarily it. But our work, when it comes to the workforce, is overall. What are the problems in productivity and how can we increase it and make it better for Tobago? The issues of absenteeism, how it affects us, how it affects productivity, how it affects finance, how it affects personnel, and ways and reasons to help in bettering it.
We talked about absenteeism, and we said we had to we look at absenteeism because we put these control mechanisms, we put policies in place, we do progressive discipline because we want people to not be absent and want them to show up to work, but we have traditionally been doing that by trying to control them. Yeah? So we say let's shift that, let's reframe it, and let us try a culture of engagement where we create an environment where people want to come to work.
One of the things is that sometimes people don't understand what their work is all about, right? They will come to work and the focus was trying to get a job. During the presentation, I asked the different groups, each table, to come up with 3 strategies from their point of view that can improve productivity in Tobago, and they all did. So one of the takeaways is that for each group we get, and there were 9 groups, right? So you get 9 by 3, 27. Although sometimes people may have reproduced some of these same ones before. But at the end of the day, what we got were ideas on how productivity can be increased in Tobago
we truly learned a lot, saw things from a lot of different perspectives and things that you could actually, at this stage, you're actually excited to try to implement, you know, because you actually saw things that practical.
This is good information, good information. I'm not saying no, but I mean, it's things we could look at for your immediate staff and stuff, but I think this program is should have been like for heads, administrators, and so that they could put things in place for the staff.
I look forward to having more of these forums because to me, a seminar that is concise point meets the organization for the event.
Who are here, they actually take and you know they thing and we make it a thing. But I think that the one is to know how the absenteeism affects the workplace. So the persons who are actually I would like to see here.
But those are always open. We'll provide you with as much information.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Today's activity forms part of our observance and commemoration of the World Day for Safety and Health at Work 2026. An annual initiative led by the International Labour Organization and observed globally on April 28. This important observance serves to promote the prevention of occupational accidents and diseases while raising awareness of emerging occupational safety and health challenges across workplaces worldwide. The theme for 2026, Good Psychosocial Working Environments, a pathway to thriving workers and strong organizations, highlights the growing recognition that workplace safety extends beyond physical hazards.
This year, we also had some new teams that came out, right? For the first time, we had an assembly legislator, and we also had 2-on-1 who also have now initially joined the competition, right? So this year, again, we have the 10 teams, right, who will again come forward to now take part. Well, we have now finished the first rounds of the competition, whereby 5 teams have advanced, and also the highest loser would also advance as well for second rounds, right? Looking forward, in the end is going to be the exciting part, where now we'll finalize, where you'll have 4 teams taking part, right? 2 will be battling for third place, and then the other 2 will now be battling for first and second place.
We would have gone about looking at information that would have be dispensed by OSHA, normally on how to work or how to deal with workplace hazards and all these different things, and really just gathering the information and learning about it. The competition was stiff. It was a great competition. We learned a lot during the competition as well, but I think we have a chance. I think the initiatives like this is very important, and especially the way they brought it about in a game forum. It's fun while being educational and enlightening the entire division about workplace safety.
We come together as a team, we prepare over the weekend because that was the only preparation. We had a little online session with our safety officers to prepare us, and it was a good experience. We was a little nervous because we were unprepared, but we came out victorious so far, so God is good.
Well, I was impressed by the response from a lot of the participants. I would have noticed over the years that I've been here improvements in terms of general awareness. The OSH department is doing a good job in trying to, take initiatives. As Ms. Boani White said, slowly but surely we are getting there. Of course, the THA is large. So I was impressed with some of the responses and also the enthusiasm for the quiz. Yeah.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
8. I am your host, Chanel Felix. And ladies and gentlemen, you know, whenever you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you want asked. But before we get into this morning's interesting topics and conversations, let's have our news in 90 seconds. It's a new era for the People's National Movement Tobago Council, as Shamfuka Joe Lewis has been announced as the new political leader after securing a decisive 1,228 votes in Sunday's internal election, defeating Kelvon Morris, who earned 730 votes. In her victory speech last night, Kajol Lewis called her win a grassroots victory and pledged to reach out to Morris to rebuild the party's unity. The new leader says her first priority is bringing all hands on deck for 2030. Additionally, tragedy struck Bacalet early Sunday morning as two Signal Hill men, 34 years old, Shaka Rivers, and Keon Nimblet, lost their lives when their vehicle reportedly lost control and crashed along the highway. The collision has sent shockwaves through the tight-knit Signal Hill community as police investigations continue. We extend our condolences to the community and family. And finally, stakeholder Terence Pitt is exposing what he calls a boat graveyard. Pitt shared footage of THA patrol vessels left to rot at the Buku Reef, while the island's top attraction remains under police. Following the recent tragedy at Pigeon Point, Pitt argues that the Assembly doesn't need more laws, they need a mechanic, claiming taxpayers' dollars are wasting and compromising safety. And that was on news in 90 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning we jump straight ahead into our conversations. And I have the privilege this morning of chatting here in studio with some members of the THTI. We are talking about their 2026 Mother's Day brunch and fundraiser. This morning to have that conversation with me, I am chatting with Acting CEO Sonia Phillip, as well as Mr. Kern Raves, who is a student chef, and a culinary lecturer, Virgis Lovelace. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
It's a pleasure to have you joining us this morning. First of all, Sonia, we want to welcome you and your team. Tell us a bit about what's happening for Mother's Day at THTI with this fundraiser, and why is it important for mothers of Tobago to come out and support what's happening at the Institute?
Well, so we have a well-curated, indulgent experience planned for all mothers at the Hospitality Institute on Sunday, May the 10th. It is our annual Mother's Day brunch. We have been having a brunch experience at THTI for Mother's Day for the last 4 years. It's been very well subscribed. It's been very successful. And this year we are taking the opportunity to utilize the experience to raise funds for some key pieces of equipment that the culinary team would like to acquire. So this year we are actually going to be incorporating the food and beverage service class, who will be doing their final practical assessment as part of the Mother's Day brunch experience. And we are also partnering with our corporate supporters, who are very generously sponsoring the experience so that we can offer basically an all-inclusive experience for all of our guests. Tickets are going fast, so we encourage everyone who has not yet made Mother's Day plans to come and spend the day at the Hospitality Institute and experience our unique hospitality experience.
Right. And, you know, when we think about having a brunch, dinner, breakfast, or any meal at THTI, usually we think of having that 5-star experience without the 5-star price. Chef Kern, tell us a little bit about what persons can expect from this brunch experience.
People can expect from this brunch experience basically to be wowed. Our menus are usually menus that are out of this world, so they can come. I don't want to let too much out of the bag, but they can come expecting an experience like no other.
Right. And Virgis, tell us a bit this morning about how students are assessed and how this type of experience really helps to create the all-round student experience.
Well, one of the things that we are catering for is for students to be out into the working world in a short time. So we try to bring the experience as if they are working outside already. So that when they leave the institute, they are capable of handling any functions throughout their career in the culinary field. For exam purposes, we try to bring it as live as possible for them.
Understood. And, you know, for the persons looking on who are interested in enrolling at the Institute, is this usually one of the places where persons get inspired when they come and they're like, I could do this, I could definitely be a part of this? They look at how the setting is created, they look at the performance of the students, the overall experience. Does this tend to also be a recruitment drive of sorts?
Definitely, because it displays everything that we are able to offer our students when they enroll in our courses. So as Kern said, we don't want to give away too much of what we have planned for you, but some of the elements that are going to be incorporated are an ice carving, which is going to be done in tandem with the food arts students as part of their coursework. And we are actually going to have a live carving station with meat fabricated by the butchery class. So they are going to get that experience in terms of in class, having done the fabrication, having learned from that perspective, and then now having to, as part of a live event, manage a carvery. So those are just two of the experiences that are going to be in store for those persons that attend. I don't want to give too much away, but let me just say one more thing. We are going to have an on-site esthetician so that everyone that attends will have the opportunity to be pampered, because we are promising an indulgent experience.
Excellent. This definitely sounds like a 5-star Mother's Day experience that's happening at the THTI. As you look to see how you can celebrate your mom this year, THTI presents you with a 5-star experience without the 5-star cost. And as you heard it here, there's an esthetician that will be on site. Yes. But more than that, we see that you guys have created a curated menu that includes a number of local items as well. Chef Kern, tell us a bit about that. Without giving us too much, tell us a bit about what persons can get when they come and when they're a part of this experience.
Okay. For that experience, we have appetizers and salads. Just to name one or two, we have the garden greens with passion fruit, vinaigrette, and provision salads and stuff like that, tying local into international cuisine. We also have a lot of roasted baigans and stuff like that. We also have smoked fish bowl jol, which is another local classic with, of course, THCI's spin on it, and a coconut focaccia.
All right. And so for the persons, Virgis, who have never experienced any type of culinary event at THTI, what would you tell them is that they can expect from being a part of this?
Definitely, you know, one of the things we pride ourselves in the Caribbean, or even Trinidad and Tobago, to be the #1 institution throughout the Caribbean and Trinidad and Tobago. So definitely, when you come there for this Mother's Day brunch, the food will be exceptional. Exceptional. Yes. I say it again, exceptional.
All right. And so we look forward to this. And this is happening on Sunday, May the 10th at 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. But you definitely want to get there on time. You want to get the best seats in the house. And you want to ensure that you get the best of the best that's being offered by the students and the staff at the Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute. And in closing, I want to find out from you, Sonia, is there anything that you want to say to our viewers as it pertains to securing their tickets in an early time?
Yes, so there are several ways that you can get tickets or make reservations for this event. You can, of course, visit our website, thti.edu.tt, and reserve your tickets there. You can pay online, you can pay via credit card on our website, but you can also reach out directly to me or someone else at THDI. You can call me at 725-9043, and we can organize to get the tickets to you or set aside the tickets for you. I would also like to say as well that this would not be possible without the support of a variety of persons, and chief among those persons would be Mrs. Takiana Ned Augustine, who very graciously agreed to be our patron for this event, and she has been supporting this event in the planning stages, in the promotion, etc. And we also have a variety of sponsors who have very generously partnered with us to offer amazing giveaways and gifts to all of our attendees. In fact, every single one of our attendees is going to be getting a gift bag with a selection of goodies, compliments of Trinitario, so everybody's getting some high-end chocolates to go home with. We also have sponsorship from National Flour Mills. We have sponsorship from Nestle Trinidad and Tobago via their Maggie brand. And we actually have sponsorship as well, very generous sponsorship from Fog Angels. So in addition to the fantastic menu, in addition to the performances, in addition to the on-site esthetician services, you will also come away with a lovely bag of goodies to take home so that you can enjoy the experience even after you leave us at THGI.
Excellent. We want to thank you so much, you and your team, for being here this morning, letting all of Tobago and our international viewers know that if you still have not booked your Mother's Day escape, then you know this is the opportunity for you to do so. Give your mom the experience that she truly deserves.
Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, we take a quick break right here and we'll be back with much more conversations after this. See you soon.
60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun.
Trinidad is my home, and I always say charity begins at home. So I'm just delighted to bring this team of dedicated volunteers. Part of our motto is that we just don't send relief. We hand deliver it with care and compassion. And as I would always tell my team, the best way to find oneself is to lose oneself in the service of others.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
Sofa Factory is here in Tobago. Conveniently located Montessori Drive, Glen Road, Scarborough. Up to 20% off on select sofas for customization. Deals on some sofas from as low as $4,000 until stocks last. 10% off on all wardrobes. Half off on shower heads with the purchase of a vanity set. Come in and experience the new way to shop for furniture and see the quality in person.
Yeah. Looking for office attire or worship apparel, then come to Tia's Classic Closet. Shopping for casual clothing or just want to dress down. Big discount, so it's you on clothing and comfortable shoes. Get some wonderful accessories to match your attire. Come to Tia's Classic Closet at 39 Montgomery Road. Opening hours daily from 9:30 to 5:30. For more information, call 710-168-99999.
Make your goals a reality this season with Mount Pleasant Credit Union. Tobago's choice, we got you smiling. Come and feel that mid-year feeling, oh yeah. Mid-year island dreams, we make it easy. $20,000 to $100,000. Come and see, we warm hearts, bright plans, your goals grow. Mount Pleasant Credit Union,
Tobago's choice. You know, every loan wants to prove more reasons to celebrate. Chance to win big, doesn't that feel great? Up to $3,500 in exciting gift certificates. Share investment starts as low as $2,500. Mid-year island dreams, we make it easy. $20,000 to $100,000. Come and see, we warm hearts, bright plans, let your goals grow. Whoa. Mount Pleasant Credit Union, Tobago's choice, you know.
The Caribbean is more than just a place. It's a spirit, resilient, vibrant, and full of possibility. Rooted in connection, driven by community. It's who we are and the heart of everything we do. For over 150 years, we've been right here, invested in the Caribbean, its people and its progress. And today, we're going even further. Liberty Business, rooted in the Caribbean, committed to you.
Baby, when you whine on me, somebody gets the phone, on the telephone. I get wet. I'm looking all through the party. I hope I find you there. This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show. And everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show. And everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show. Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Let's go, go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise.
and Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. I am your host, Chanel Felix. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning we jump straight ahead into our conversation and we are chatting with the political leader of the Innovative Democratic Alliance, Dr. Denise Soyafat Angus. And this morning we're chatting about a number of topics, but we start off by chatting about the shift in the domestic boarding terminal, and we're talking about what's happening at the Piaco International Airport and how that affects the Tobago passengers, not just the Tobago passengers, but all passengers that are passing through the airport. This marks the beginning of a new chapter in aligning all the security apparatus in the airport to have each person passing through the same security gate. Good morning again and welcome.
Good morning, Chanel. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and whoever else is listening to us. You know, it is unfortunate that our governments, both in Trinidad and even in Tobago, they don't pay attention to what we consider consultation and involvement of the people in decisions that affect the people. And clearly, the decision to move the the Tobago terminal into the international area was not well thought out, and the evidence of that is that they have pulled back on it. Okay, so after you've made a decision you want to implement, you're now pulling back and saying, okay, we're going to think about it. And this has been happening way too frequently. We have to consider that when you talk about efficiency, it's efficiency for whom? And efficiency to what end? And I don't think that they thought about that in terms of how Tobagonians travel. In terms of, you know, it's not even just convenience, it's, you know, the process of how we travel and how is that going to be interfered with when you take them to go upstairs to an international space to actually go through security, and the extended lines that you would now have, that they have to, you know, appear even more with more time than they would normally have to as going to the domestic terminal. So there are a lot of issues there, and I must say that it's a good thing that they've pulled it back to actually look at it, but I hope that it's a lesson for them that they have to start thinking about more involvement of the people before you make a decision.
Right. And even with the proposal that came forward to have everyone passing through that one security terminal, do you see any way in which that could have benefited the overall efficiency and security for the airport?
For the airport or for the people?
The airport authority, how they have balanced their security. Do you see that benefiting them in any way?
I don't know, because you have a greater bottleneck in one area. Because when you look at how the international space is set up, you have two stations where persons are going through. You're now putting an additional burden on that system to bring the domestic travelers through. So I don't know how efficient it's going to be for them. Maybe it's saving money because they don't have to have the additional security downstairs. But at the same time, you're saving money, but to what end? Because you're just going to have longer lines going through an international space. And whereas persons traveling between Trinidad and Tobago may want food that may be more affordable to them, when you go upstairs, the food sometimes it's going to be beyond their reach. So it's a lot of other factors that they have to think about, and they have to consult the people on.
And taking a look at what happened on Thursday, we saw that the Marine Park Bill was at the Assembly Legislature and was voted on. What are some of your thoughts on that being fast-tracked in order to possibly bring some level of relief out there in the marine park, particularly in that Buku, Pigeon Point, Storby area.
The duplicity and hypocrisy of this administration is quite mind-boggling. Okay? So, we go back. This is not the first time someone has died over the jet ski. We've had probably about 5 deaths and 2 serious injuries resulting in paralysis. And those are what we could count. There were some even before that. Okay, so we're dealing with that there. And in 2007, when the persons became paralyzed, they actually sued the Tobago House of Assembly. And in that suit, I think the judgment came finally maybe in 2024, during this administration's time, the judgment was clear that the Tobago House of Assembly is solely responsible and not the central government. Why? Because the Tobago House of Assembly has a responsibility for safety and ensuring people understand the risks that they're taking and having appropriate barriers in place. There were not enough signs advising people who are bathing. There were not enough, markers in the water, because a piece of rope is not going to stop or even have persons really see anything. So they spoke about the markers in that judgment. And in 2020, I know during the last administration, in 2020, a Tobago Marine Bill was done again and sent to Parliament. And the current Chief Secretary was a part of voting for that bill, because I understand they got unanimous support. It went down to Parliament. But over the last 4 years, even though we have had sinking boats and all of that, you never heard any utterances regarding the Tobago Marine Bill from the administration. So it was just there to languish between the PNM and the TPP and their conflicts that they were having. It was left to languish. But let's look at it further, because the Tobago House of Assembly says it really doesn't have authority. But come on. About 3 years ago, the Chief Secretary formed his own Tobago Policing Committee with the TTPS team and some other players around. So how are you now saying that you don't have authority? You have authority on crime, but you don't have authority on that. So it's a bit hypocritical, and now to take a new bill without significant consultation of the people is totally, quite disrespectful, especially with the fact that you do not have an opposition in the House. And maybe they're saying, well, it's urgent. No, it's not urgent, because you have to do things according to process. Now, according to the 1970 Marine Act, the minister has the authority to get up one morning and say, look, this is a further restricted area. I designate it. He doesn't even have to go to Parliament, because it says that within the year after his decision is made, that is when he has up until to take it to Parliament. But he could get up tomorrow morning and decide that is the restricted area. I would expect that a Tobago House of Assembly that purports to have such friendship with Trinidad will have the good sense to say to the minister, listen, can you use your powers right now to create the restrictions and give us that relief that we need in terms of going forward, whilst we get the proper consultation on the bill in order to satisfy the people of Tobago and not just being a reactive government.
We have some stakeholders saying that, there's a graveyard of patrol boats, and that what they are seeing as a solution is actually activating what is already in place in terms of the reef patrols, and seeing that as a means of assisting with some of the issues being faced out there in the marine park. Do you also see that in the meantime, while consultations could have been taking place, that they could have reinstated a number of those reef
Absolutely, because it was there before. If you had boats, it means there was a system before, and therefore they just have to follow the system. But I get the feeling that this administration is into duck and hide to absolve themselves from any responsibility of any fallout that may be on its way. But I'm here to tell them you will go back to court and the judge will find the Tobago House of Assembly responsible, because you had the authority to shut down the park. You say you're shutting down the park. You say you're doing different things. You actually charge money to go into the areas. You're responsible. Regardless of you say you're not in control of the TTPS. No government is in control of enforcement. The TTPS is in control of enforcement, and they're responsible for Trinidad and Tobago. And the chief secretary, I don't know if it functions still, but he has a Tobago police in a committee where he could have orchestrated all of this to get the support that he needs. He also is good friends with the Prime Minister. They have a very good relationship, and he could have requested that the National Security Council take a look at this and formulate the security apparatus needed in the protection of this space. There's a lot that can be done without this knee-jerk reaction of running into the legislator to approve something that the people were not involved in having a say.
And for you, where do you see this situation that happened in Pigeon Point? Where do you see the next steps from that going in order to restore confidence in how the park is managed?
Well, first of all, you need to ensure it begins with consultation with the stakeholders, and stakeholders will not just be the jet ski people. You must have the reef operators, you must have the bathers, you know, people who actually go and bathe in the sea. You bring everybody together and you discuss it. You will find meaningful solutions coming out of it. Okay? Again, this idea of just running and doing something without involving the people does not get us anywhere anytime soon. And what happens is they make a decision and then they have to pull back on it, just like the shark bounty, just like the domestic travel, just like the $1,000 that they want to charge. Decisions are being made and then they have to pull back. We're not going anywhere fast.
So even as we look to wrap up our conversation, I'm glad that you touched a bit on that, because that was my next question. There has been a proposal for that additional flight during peak season at a cost of $1,000 for persons who are able to afford it, to travel to and from between the islands. What are your thoughts? Well, you kind of hinted to some of your sentiments.
I think we need to be careful. Okay? Is Caribbean islands looking to Tobago and the $1,000 to take them out of the negative margins that they're having? What about all the other areas that they travel, the international flights? Are those making money, or are they not making money, or are they trying to use Tobago to subsidize their failures in those areas? We, the citizens of this country, deserve a comprehensive examination at the workings of CAL, okay? And not just, again, another knee-jerk reaction. Okay, let's just take it out of Tobago. It doesn't work that way. Between Trinidad and Tobago is not a luxury flight for Tobagonians. It is a flight of necessity and essential. And I understand that the country does not make money. The country is at a very low in terms of the economy. And instead of, when they were in opposition, they talk about what? Axe the tax, yes? And now we're dealing with tax and axe. Okay, because that is exactly what we're treating with in every sense of the decisions that they make. And that $1,000 knee-jerk decision is just part of tax and acts Tobagonians in this whole thing. And you know what is concerning? Is that the Chief Secretary just takes it on as if, well, you know, this can happen. You know, the domestic flight, they ran and they put on some skit. Yeah, beautiful skit. But did they really think through the implications to Tobagonians when they were trying to sell us that? Okay? The $1,000, I understand. Like I said, the country is under challenge. They have to find ways. But I would really expect Cal to have a comprehensive view and said, okay, this is what we're going to do with Tobago. But these are the other measures we're going to take in other areas to ensure that we can now maybe run a little bit more profitable or whatever it is. But just saying, okay, we're going to penalize that flight between Trinidad and Tobago, that's not enough. That's
Understood.
not enough. It's quite disappointing.
Yeah. Well, we want to thank you so much for being here this morning and coming in to have that chat, that conversation with us. Ladies and gentlemen, up next we have the newly elected political leader of the People's National Movement Tobago Council, Mrs. Shamfa Kujur Lewis, and we will be chatting with her right up next after this break. See you soon.
Sofa Factory is here in Tobago. Conveniently located Montessori Drive, Glen Road, Scarborough. Up to 20% off on select sofas for customization. Deals on some sofas from as low as $4,000 until stocks last. 10% off on all wardrobes. Half off on shower heads with the purchase of a vanity set. Come in and experience the new way to shop for furniture and see the quality in person.
Looking for office attire or worship apparel, then come to Tia's Classic Closet. Shopping for casual clothing or just want to dress down. Big discount, so it's you on clothing and comfortable shoes. Get some wonderful accessories to match your attire. Come to Tia's Classic Closet at 39 Montgomery Road. Opening hours daily from 9:30 to 5:30. For more information, call 710-168-99999.
Make your goals a reality this season with Mount Pleasant Credit Union. Tobago's choice, we got you smiling. Come and feel that mid-year feeling, oh yeah. Mid-year island dreams, we make it easy. $20,000 to $100,000. Come and see, we warm hearts, bright plans, your goals grow. Mount Pleasant Credit Union, Tobago's choice. You know, every loan once approved, more reasons to celebrate. Chance to win big, doesn't that feel great? Up to $3,500 in exciting gift certificates. Share investment starts as low as $2,500. Mid-year island dreams, we make it easy. $20,000 to $100,000. Come and see, we warm hearts, bright plans, let your goals grow. Mount Pleasant Credit Union, Tobago's choice, you know.
The Caribbean is more than just a place. It's a spirit, resilient, vibrant, and full of possibility. Rooted in connection, driven by community. It's who we are at the heart of everything we do. For over 150 years, we've been right here, invested in the Caribbean, its people, and its progress. And today, we're going even further. Liberty Business, rooted in the Caribbean, committed to you.
Tobago updates.
welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Ladies and gentlemen, we have in studio with us this morning the newly elected political leader of the People's National Movement Tobago Council, Mrs. Shamfa Cajole-Lewis. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Ms. Felix. Good
so you
morning,
join us
Tobago.
this
Thanks for having
morning
me.
with a totally new title from the last conversation we had last week. And what are we calling you now? The Army of One? The Army of One, that one. Tell us a bit about your experience during the election process yesterday. How was that for you? Your observation of the internal election process? Were you pleased with the process?
Okay.
And what was the reactions from some of the persons you saw yesterday when you went out to cast your vote?
Yesterday was pretty smooth for me. I visited some of the polling stations. There were some hiccups at some polling stations. So for instance, when I went to vote in Lowlands, my name could have easily been found, but my sister, at first she was told her name is not on the list, and I said, I know your name is on the list. So I say, double check, but her name was spelled incorrectly on the list. So I know there are quite a couple of persons who are experienced situations like that. And when I went to Plymouth, we ran out of polling ballot books because it was a little booklet that was made because it's 17 positions. And 3 times yesterday, we ran out of ballot books in Plymouth, so that caused a little stall, like for about 30 minutes each time. And I felt I was worried about that because Plymouth is a stronghold area for me. Based on the records of bringing in the numbers in Tobago West, I depend heavily on that Plymouth area. So I was worried and I wanted to ask for extra time, but that wasn't possible. But I ended up winning in Plymouth, even though there are persons who had to leave the polls because they were not willing to stand in the sun to wait 30 minutes until more ballot papers came, you know. So those are 2 hiccups that I looked at. Another thing is I had always had a little challenge with the voters list. I'm one who believed that the voter list needed to be sanitized and verified before going into elections, because we still have a lot of persons who have gone over to the other side still on the list. And I think that when you allow somebody who's opposed to you to make a decision as to who will lead you, I felt like we were undermining our own process by allowing them to vote. But those persons were allowed to vote anyway. And of course, I heard of plans to come to vote for the people who they felt were the weaker candidates, so we'll have a weak executive. So I was a little worried, but my focus remained on bringing out the bona fide PNM members. So if I'm going through the list and I'm calling people and I know based on the list that I know you're going over TPP, I'm not calling you. Right. I'm not calling you to ask you for your vote, because I don't think you should have a say in saying who should lead our party. So I know there are some persons who call the TPP people, but I wasn't for that. If we're serious about rebuilding the party, then we had a push, you know, so I didn't call them. And it worked out still, you know, it worked out because I felt like this was a journey, or should I say a battle, for the grassroots people. As we discussed before, there are many who said, oh, you don't have the experienced persons behind you. Matter of fact, some persons would ask me when I call them for support, who you have behind you? And when they don't hear certain names, like, well, I have Miss Joanne down in Lambo, and I have Miss... They're like, no, ma'am. You know, it was like, you're not cutting it. But I believe in the power of people. And I believe in the power of the grassroots people who go out there and do the knocking and the calling and so on. They are the persons who could feel the true pulse of the People's National Movement. Yes, I honor and respect the seniors and the stalwarts, and they have a big role to play in providing guidance and so on. But I think that equally important and of equal weight, the people on the ground, and that is what carried me. I like to see the ground carry me, and I'm grateful for that. Yeah.
We're in a season where within the Caribbean region, we have a number of citizens from different countries calling Mia Mottley dear Prime Minister. And it kind of highlights the need for a certain level of strong female leadership that's willing to not be liked. Do you see some principles, characteristics that Mia positions herself with that you yourself can or do embody at this time? And, you really think that that is what Trinidad and Tobago, not just Tobago, needs right now?
Mayor Mottley is a very unique politician. But what I admire about her through the years is she had spent her time through the fire, fighting within her party and so on. And for me, it's not only about being a woman in leadership, it's about having the strength, having the integrity, having the capacity to do the hard work. During this campaign, there are many who try to sell my reputation as she is too stiff, she's too stern, and she cannot be tamed, and there were comments about telling people that you can't work with her, she's too strict, but I am who I am, and I've learned a lot over the years. And I know that when you're dealing with people's business, you have to be serious about it. So many people depend on the politics for their livelihood, for their welfare. And you just can't be fooling around with people's lives. I think if you're making promises to people that you don't intend to keep, and you're not taking people seriously, you're not taking people calls and that kind of thing, that's rude, that's disrespectful, and that's playing with people's lives, So I attend to the business of the politics with a certain level of seriousness. And in order to win again, we can't keep doing the same old things. And we can't be lackadaisical about the business of the party. We have to be serious. It calls for a certain level of discipline. I bring that. But it doesn't mean that I'm not compassionate, because the people who know me know that I care about people. I'm in this job because I love people, So for me, it's about strength with compassion and being willing to do the work with a certain level of integrity.
Right. And in a conversation last week, your former opponent for the political leader position kind of hinted to the fact that there was a level of pretensiveness and disingenuousness surrounding the way that your campaign was run, solely because of the fact that you said that you did not have a slate, but there was the impression that there was a covert slate happening. How do you think that impacts the party moving forward, leadership, with the different results that will come out today?
I believe that my challenger, I don't even call him an opponent, because we are one in the People's National Movement. We are family, we are brothers and sisters. That's an interesting position to hold, because he would know that on March 5th, when I made my announcement here with you, I was the only person running for political leader. And as I made my announcement, a couple of days after, I looked around, so I'm expecting other people to make their announcement too about wanting to run for different positions. And nobody was coming forward. I said, wow, we're in such a bad place that nobody wants to run for anything. So I started calling people, and I said, okay, I got to build a slate to make sure that somebody runs for each position. But as I called around, Tobagonians kept saying, I'm not in favor of no slate. I even called persons on his team. I called Melanie I spoke to Melanie Rajman's relative, and I also spoke, because she was out of the country at the time, I think she was doing a course in the UK with the Parliament, and I called on Justin John, that young lawyer, brilliant boy, brilliant young man. So, and nobody was interested. So then I said, the more I talked to people kept saying, you see this slate thing, it's not healthy for us. We saw what that did to our party in the past. Let the people run freely. And as you talk to persons who were interested in rebuilding the party, they felt that they wouldn't be able to amass votes because they are not part of any clique. And when I walked the first day in Tobago East, people are saying, here now, we know you. We know it was you and Ayana in the Parliament and so on, but we don't know half them faces we see now offering themselves. So I said, you know what, I'm going to open up my platform, because here I am as an independent, I didn't have a slate. I'm as an independent, and I know where I go, I would pull an audience because I was an MP, so people who supported me would come. These other independents who people saying that they don't know and who are young persons who are sticking their neck out to say, hey, I want to rebuild my party, many of them wouldn't be able to pull an audience. So I say, you know what, wherever I go, anybody could come, whether you're independent or on a slate. And the independents came. And those on a slate came. And I felt like it was only fair to allow the independents to use my resources too. Because I already had connections. The slate people had their connections. They had a network, they had resources and so on. They had the support of stalwarts and seniors who had served, and they have connections. But these other persons have no connections whatsoever. And if I want to encourage the best talent to come forward in the party, then I extended my resources to them too.
So do you think that that could have been interpreted as you creating a team with opening?
No, because you had that service was open to everybody. When I went to John Dial, there are members of Mr. Morris's team who came and spoke on my platform. And then I went to Mason Hall the following day, and members of his team came, and he came and spoke on my platform also. And then that following Sunday, I went and spoke on his platform, because we are one PNM. My audience is his audience, and I believe that his audience is my audience too. What were we supposed to do? Independent people like, let's say, a Liam Wilkinson, independent people like Anayana Phillip, who are offering themselves for this type of office for the first time, I should have just leave them when I know if they were helped to make a flyer, they could use my resources. Why not? It takes nothing from me to give, to help somebody else. And I open to all candidates. If you feel like you need help, if you want to walk with me, if you want to come and talk on my platform, do that, because we all have to be one PNM. So even for election day, of course the slate would have their machinery. What should we do? 17 independents, get 17 drivers, and we don't have that money. We didn't have that resources. I didn't have that resources. I didn't have the resources to say, okay, I could pay for 17 people. Yeah, so I had no slate. And a matter of fact, you had persons running, you have Lauren Forbes for PRO, and Akil Guy moving with me too. So what you're saying, the two of them on my slate? You understand? That doesn't make any sense. They are both running for the position of PRO, and they're moving with me. They're talking on my platform and so on. So I had two PROs on the slate. That doesn't make any sense. I opened to everybody, independent, and everybody on the slate. Use my resources. Move with me. Walk with me. Yeah?
Understood. What do you say to the people who say the People's National Movement is dead in Tobago?
That doesn't make any sense to me, because the People's National Movement is alive and well. And you see this election especially, where you had so many people sign up for the first time. You had persons who had left the party who said, you know what, I am returning because I feel a sense of hope once again. Whenever the PNM loses an election, everybody's quick to come out the woodwork talking about, oh, the PNM dead, and put coughing on social media and so on. I'm like, what a joke, because there are so many other parties that would have lost and came right back. The UNC was in a mess couple years ago, and you had persons leaving in drones last year, to the point that we in the PNM thought, well, okay, people leaving the UNC, now might be a good time to win, and we end up losing. You know what I mean? So in politics, you have your good days, you have your bad days, and whenever the UNC loses in Trinidad, because you remember the UNC was on a losing trail, nobody says, oh, the UNC is dead, or that's the end of Kamala's political career. Well, now I say Honorable Prime Minister Kamala Prasad Biswas, but at that time people used to say that's the end of Kamala's career. But when the PNM loses, oh, it's the end. Gone are the days of the PNM. That's I don't know what kind of intimidation tactic that is, but the PNM is more than a party. It's a family. It's an institution. It's a historical institution, and there are so many people with such an emotional and psychological connection because of what the PNM has done over the years. We have the days when we are down, and we have the days when we are up. Now I look back at the past, not to lament, to say, oh God, things bad, what we could do. We still have to look back to learn and to move forward and to rebuild. So yes, we've had some bad days, but I take this as Tobagonians refused us and send us back to do your homework. Say, hey, this we in tongue long thing not working. This whole spirit of incumbency, like we've been here and we've built this and we've done that. Okay, that we understand that you've contributed, but here we are today trying to move forward. Go back and do your homework and come again. And that's what we have to do.
Right. What do you say to the persons who supported Mr. Morris, who are now saying, I am not satisfied with the result and I'm crossing over to the other side?
I would tell them, think again. Think again. The PNM has been here before. In 2010, we were in a very similar situation. We had lost the 2 Tobago seats. We had lost, that was when Mr. Manning had lost with the whole Call the Heart issue and that type of thing. And we took our time and we rebuilt our party to the point that we had tremendous support in 2015 and then had a second term. It's hard work. And you can't run from hard work if you love your household. If you love your home, right? If you're serious about the principles and the values of the People's National Movement, the party is not something foreign on its own. Whatever the party is, it's because we are that too. Yes? So we have to do some introspection and look at how we handle ourselves, look at how we handle each other, and rebuild our home, our People's National Movement before running over someplace where you don't share the same views, you don't share the same values, but you run over there because they're winning now. I remember one of my brother's friends calling him and telling him, hey, come over on the other side. That train over there not going to the bank. This train going to the bank, come over on the money train. And that's not my values. Whether you're making money or you're getting contracts or whatever over there, right now, we don't share the same beliefs and the same values. So you have to check yourself and see what's best for you. If you think their values align with you, then that's a decision for you to make. But the people in the People's National Movement have to be serious about rebuilding and doing the hard work. This is going to be no walk in the park. No part of this is going to be easy, but the work must be done in order to strengthen and rebuild our 70-year-old institution and our party. And I believe that we can and we will together.
Right. How was it for you when you recognized that you were sharing blows in most of those polling stations yesterday?
I thank God first and foremost, because there are some persons who were out there saying she's a one-man army. Nobody supporting her, no big wig supporting her. And people who called on me to run for the political leadership before, when I call on them, they're not answering their phone. And they're not responding. I'm saying, Lord, what is this? But then I thought, you know what? You see, the grassroots, that is who kept me through the years. And the support for me in the wider public is greater than the support for me in the house of the PNM Tobago Council. Again, I say, the support for me in the wider Tobago public is greater than the support for me and the love for me in the PNM. In some quarters of the PNM. But this election has proven that the ground stands strong. And the average Joe is just as important as the stalwart and the seniors and the former office holders. So this is a very profound mandate for me to do right by the people on the ground. Yes, I respect the stalwarts. Yes, I respect the seniors. But I had to go through what I went through in this campaign to learn the things that I now know about my party, about its membership, about its culture, and it puts me in a position and gives me a greater fire in my belly to change the things that need to be changed, to do right by all, and to certainly restore the PNM that I joined when I returned home from college in 2008, 2009.
And finally, even as we wrap up our conversation, you spoke a little bit about that journey and that level of, perceived loneliness on that road. Although we know that you would have had your family behind you and your silent supporters. But, looking back at it, do you think that it would have affected you the way how persons would have revealed their true selves throughout this journey?
I kept myself grounded in the fact that this is not about personalities, and I always try to look for the good in people. So in the moment of competing and battling and so on, some people might have gone in some directions that they wouldn't normally go on an average day. I believe in this Maya Angelou phrase that says, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them the first time. But I also believe in forgiveness. I also believe that people are made in love, or were made in love by God. And your natural reset is love. Your default position is love. So whatever you're going through in a specific situation that may cause you to react in a certain way, I know once you're driven to get back to factory setting or back to how God made you, it would be from a place of love. So I'm very open to talking to even people who have said things about me on this campaign, because I know good and well that your default position is love. And I just need to find my way to your love spot. And I'm willing to do that work with each and every one. I think persons who have offered themselves for service in the People's National Movement, they know that we're at an all-time low. That means you feel something in your bones that you want to come forward and do the work. And I hope that they all stay on board and we can work hand in hand, and we will work hand in hand to get the job done. I'm not even operating from a place like, I don't know, I'm not really sure. I feel confident that every right-thinking PNMite who showed themselves or offered themselves for office will come forward and do the work. And just know, no matter what corner of the divide you sit, what faction you're in, I am willing to work with you, to listen, to learn, to walk hand in hand and get the job done. And new people who are coming in, come on in. As the TVP like to say, rock and come in. Yeah.
And get back to your right self, as you say, right? In other words, get back to your right self. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you so much for being a part of this morning's discussions. We want to thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments, and all that you have done and continue to do to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. This morning, we are saying a special congratulations to the new political leader of the Tobago Council of the PNM. And we're wishing you all the best in your future endeavors. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great day.
And the vibes is never